If you're going to graph a quadratic, you should look and see what form is it in. So in this particular version, it is in vertex format, which means you should start by finding the vertex. So if we look, our vertex is at 4, because it's always the opposite of what you want to say, 4, 1. So if the vertex is 4, 1, and we plot that over 4 up 1, that means that the axis of symmetry is at 4 because the vertex has to lie on it. So I'm also going to draw my axis of symmetry so that I can find my mirror image points. If I were just graphing this, I would go on to choose another point to plug in. But I want you to know that there's a lot of things we can answer before that. If you were pressed for time and didn't have time to graph, you can answer these questions. Does it open up or down? Well, let's look at A. If A is 2, it opens up because it's positive. So if you have a parabola that's opening up, then it means that it has a minimum. If this thing is opening up right now, like this, it has 0 roots. So we don't even have to care about writing them as an ordered pair. So the only thing we need to do now is graph so we can find the domain and the range. So all we have to do is pick a point. Since this is growing twice as fast, I think that we should probably pick points very close to 4. So you could pick like a 3 or a 2 at best. I'm going to choose 2. So when x is 2, let's plug it in. We're going to get 2 times, what is 2 minus 4 all squared plus 1. So let's see what this comes out to be. We've got 2 times negative 2 squared, which will be 4, plus 1. Girls, that's going to be 8 plus 1, which is 9. So when x is 2, y is 9. So let's just plug that in. At 2 and 9, let's plot that point. Let's graph its mirror image on the other side. And you can see this is a narrow parabola. Do your best to make this look curved. And finally, we're going to do the domain and range. Because this has arrows, there is no farthest left and there is no farthest right. It's going to keep growing sideways little bit by little bit. So the domain is going to be all real numbers. But there definitely is a range. And if you take a look, you can see that this graph begins, its lowest point is at 1. So we have two choices. You can write the range as y is greater than or equal to 1, or you can write it using our interval notation, where you start with the lowest, which is 1, and you go to the highest, which is going on forever to infinity. And you can also use that interval. So the whole thing should take you well under 5 minutes. Vertex form, graph the vertex first, sketch the axis of symmetry, and then find at least one other set of points. And you're complete.